every time you're being called on. And this is to every member of NAPE. The president is on transit. However, we have all the able executives here who will be supporting to ensure that this meeting goes as smooth and as seamless as possible. I'm just going to wait a bit for the vice president who will be talking in the stead of the president to join us. But before then, I'd like to run you through some housekeeping to ensure that we have a good... We are NAPE. We are NAPE. Okay, so if you joined in early, you must have seen the video that we showed. I'm going to play that again very briefly. So this is one step of many series that we are planning to air. If you'd like to volunteer to be a part of it in terms of voiceover or recording of anything that you think you can do for NAPE to support, please get in touch with Tunde at the Secretariat, nominate yourself, and we will be in touch with you. There's so many things to do. The conference is coming. A lot of things are also happening within the industry that we are responding to, and all of that will be shared today. Our monthly technical meeting and business meeting continues to be a unique avenue for our members to network and to knowledge share. Even though we've been virtual for a while, we recognize that members keep up to date with our activities via the social media, via our email correspondences, but we are calling more for your inclusiveness. If there are anything that you would like us to do at NAPE, if there are any information or activities that you think is not getting the right attention, please let us know. The executives, all of the executives are all available for you to reach out to. Details are all on the website, www.nape.org.ng. And that's really my opening for today. But a bit of housekeeping. Please, your phone, put it on silent. If you have to speak, maybe during the technical presentation, please raise up your hand. We will call you if the time permits, but I've also seen over time that questions are better answered when you put it on the Q&A. So I'm imploring that you please utilize that option as against raising up your hand. Time most times does not permit that. We will have a poll that would come into your chat box. Please, it's to help us get better and improve on our delivery every month. And safety moments is like an essential part of our lives. So even though we don't have a curated session for this today, I'm imploring that you please look around your surrounding, ensure that you're safe, ensure also that your mental well-being, you're in the right place at work, speak to your manager, speak to your colleague if you need help. And it's on that note, I would like to welcome the Vice President, Dr. Antonio Foma, who would open this session in place of the President before we then go back to our video. And then I call on the VP, on the PE, who does the same. And then we'll proceed into the meeting. So VP, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, PS. Yeah, today is June 15th, yet another technical meeting for NAPE, sponsored by Dharmattan. I want to use this opportunity to welcome our members. Of course, those who are not our members too, because I'm sure some might join to enjoy the topic. I want to use this opportunity to welcome you to this June 15th technical business meeting. As you know, NAPE motto or logo says ideas find oil and gas. So we are here to listen to another great topic, the need for precision in fault seal analysis, case studies in the avoidance of dry holes. This is supposed to be taken by Wasiu Lawal. He's a senior geoscientist. We will listen to him, and I'm sure he has packed full of information for us to use at our various corporations and companies in the event we encounter such. So once again, welcome. to this technical session. Then I want to briefly touch the election nomination. I think it ended on Friday. I don't know what it looks like, but just to tell our members that, you see, if we don't have people to man the affairs of NAPE, believe me, NAPE might gradually extinct. We need the young ones to come up, take elective positions, vie for elective positions. It doesn't take anything. You see, maybe perhaps what we are afraid of, failing or maybe winning and all that, that should come to our mind. This is an association. We are not paid for it. Nobody pays us for it. It's just that sacrifice to see that this association keeps moving, this association keeps track, and we continue to enjoy the fruit of our predecessors, our leaders, those who tirelessly formed NAPE for us to benefit at this time. We don't want it to die. So I'm appealing to our members, please, let us apply, no matter the position, let's apply for it. Serve the association. From there, we can dovetail to something higher than, the NAPE elections. Please, I'm appealing. Both the young guys, the elder folks, and the rest, please, let us try to get involved with our elections. Although it has closed on the 10th, which I think Friday, but please, we still have to do something. It's not impressive. It's not impressive. But I'll leave that. Probably we'll discuss that in depth at a later time. Then for the awards nomination, that's still ongoing. We expect to conclude by the end of the month. And we appeal to those who feel genuinely that they're eligible to be awarded a Fellow of NAPE to please apply. And I can see somebody is raising her hand or his hand, I don't know. But I'm just giving my opening remarks. Probably whatever you want to say might come much later, probably after the presentation. So for the awards nomination, that is still ongoing. And I appeal to members who genuinely want to be fellows of NAPE to apply to the different categories of the award. I want to use this opportunity to recognize the sponsors of this technical program or technical business meeting. That is Dharmattan. Dharmattan has always been at our beck and call. We cannot overemphasize that. They've been a very good partner to us. They've sponsored some of our programs, both in the conference, both technical, even in technical presentations and sessions. They have always been there for us. We want to thank the sponsors immensely for taking up this month. And we pray and appeal to them that whenever we come to them, they will still oblige that opportunity to do one or two things for us in future. Thank you very much, Dharmattan, and we appreciate all that you do for us in NAPE. At this point, I'll yield back to the PS to continue with the next line of program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anthony. And you could have said it better around volunteering and all that, but thank you for your opening remark. I guess you forgot to welcome your fellows, your BOTs, advisory council members that are on the call as well, just to emphasize that.
You're correct, also. Really, that was an oversight on my part, and I apologize to our esteemed BOT members, our advisory council members here present, and executive committee members also present. I think the PE will do that in his own speech, but all the same, I welcome everybody, including the BOT, AC, and the ESCO. Thank you very much, Thomas, for reminding me. Thank you.
You're much welcome. Thank you. So if you didn't join us earlier, we played this amazing video of what we're doing at NAPE and what we're about. So I'll just play it for you again before we then invite the president-elect to give his own opening remark. Do enjoy. We are NAPE, a community of geoscientists, explorationists, and upstream industry professionals with a vision to be the leading professional petroleum geosciences association with a global reach. We promote the study and professional practice for the benefit of our members, stakeholders, and the society. We support intellectual advancements. We advocate for the right industry policies. We disseminate information, foster common scientific interest and research, and ensure the professional well-being and dignity of our members. Our core values are integrity, professionalism, transparency, trustworthiness, and accountability. Our members are people engaged in the professional practice involving the application of geoscience and related discipline to the exploration and exploitation of petroleum, energy, and related mineral resources. Our members are the essence of our association, and over the years, with active and relentless volunteering, we have continued to uphold the dignity that comes with being a NAPE member. We remain the voice of upstream industry practices in Nigeria and partner for growth with our member organizations. Whatever stage you are in, either a student, academia, young professional, mid to senior level career, professional, retired but not tired, and friends of the industry, we create the best business and technical events to accelerate your professional growth while providing an amazing community of colleagues and associates for your networking benefits. We invite you to join us, volunteer, and continue to be a proud ambassador of NAPE. Welcome to NAPE. Right, thank you. And if you like that and you like to be a part of this continuing project of making short video and clips to NAPE, I said earlier, please get in touch with Tunde at the Secretariat and express your interest. We're very much looking for a lot of people to help us with this voiceover. We don't want to have to pay a dime for it. So looking forward to your nominations. So P, over to you. Please to do justice to opening, and then we'll go into announcements before we start our technical session.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Wasiu, Secretary. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining these. I think it's the 5th technical meeting of the year. Just like the Vice President said, instead of the President, I just want to welcome all those who are on the call, members of the Board of Trustees who are here present, members of the Advisory Council, fellows and fellows emeritus, as well as the executive committee members of the association, our members, the sponsor, Dharmattan, the speaker, Wasiu, Lawal, members of our staff, and I also see on the call members of our partner associations. I see Dele on the call from the APG. I think it's just refreshing having people continue to join us to make NAPE greater. I think we saw the tweet from the office of the publicity team, and I think it's very apt that as we get to the halfway in the year, that we begin to find ways to publicize what we have done so far, what we plan to do. There's so much still happening between now and our November conference, and I think the clarion call from the Vice President is also very appropriate. That we should find time. That we should find time to please join these exciting journey this year to make the 2022 the breakout year for the association. So as we get into the business of the day, I just want to again thank Bashir Corridor and his team for agreeing to sponsor this month's meeting, and we look forward to a very exciting 60 to 90 minutes. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you very much, PA. Yeah, so we'll just run into announcement very quickly. I know that you didn't mention this, so I'll do a short recap. The theme of the conference is being displayed, and you are please enjoying to submit your abstracts to volunteer for the many committees that are putting this conference together, and importantly, to get your organizations to exhibit and to be a part of the conference. There are many activities beyond exhibition, of course. Our annual events, such as the pre-conference workshop, the management session, or convention luncheon, they will also be on the show this year. So please get your organization ready and yourself ready and be a part of this. The virtual field trip has been one important thing that everyone has been raving about. So this year, the technical team are also beginning to plan some activities. They're already doing the reconnaissance of where they are taking us to. Please ensure to key into this amazing event that is being planned for our knowledge. You've seen this a couple of times. These are the themes for the year, the sub-themes, pardon me, the technical sub-themes. These are the areas where your call for abstract are expected. The information has been shared many times via the social media and the email. If you are not receiving this implies that your membership is not up to date. So please ensure that your membership is up to date. It's not a lot of money. So going straight to more announcements, I'm going to start with informing us around our response to the Caritas University natural gas induced fire outbreak. I'm going to call Dr. Dim, the chapter coordinator of Oka Owerri, who went there on behalf of NAPE, himself and his team as shown, and he will talk us through what they observed, what they saw, just to bring you first-hand information of how this happened and our response as NAPE so far. Dr. Dim, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, my peers. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, you're loud and clear.
All right. Good morning, everyone. All protocol to observe. Yeah, just like the PS said, it's just the picture there shows it all. This happened, it's almost like 3 weeks now, 21 days and counting. Let me just put it out there. Up till now, the fire is still raging. So immediately we had this as a chapter. The first thing we did was to put a call through to the president, and he mandated that we go.
Dr. Dim, just so I call your attention.
Very president, Dr. said it. So we immediately went. Amazing.
Tony, confirm that this is not only me, just to be sure.
This is having network issues.
Okay. So I just
can't hear him again.
Okay. So we'll give him some few minutes to probably log out and then come in again. And then we'll take his first stand, because it's eyewitness reports for this. So please, 1 minute, we will be back. Dr. Dim, if you can hear us, I see that you're still trying to speak, but we can't hear you. I think it's a network problem. So you probably want to log off this call and come back in. Let's see if that will help. Or Tunde, just throw him out and then he will come back in. Throw him out literally.
Okay.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for Jane first, and reports. I'm just going to talk through what we have done at NAPE in response to this. So after E and his team went there, the president then had a media parley with members of the press to just send out a general caution around what the public should be doing and observing at this time. This media parley is passed as a two-phased event. The first one is what we did, and you can see some of the snippets of the, as reported by the various media houses. The second level is that now that the technical committee and members of the Okaweri team have submitted a report, this will be shared to the regulatory agency in charge of incidents like this. It would not be shared to the general public. It will be shared to the regulatory body, who will then take their decision from there. Just so you are aware that when this event happened at NAPE, as a professional organization, we have a responsibility to respond to like this, and this we have appropriately done. Dr. Dim is back, so we'll see if...
Okay.
Good.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, sorry for that. I was actually working from my system. Now I'm back to phone. All right. So, like I was trying to say, this was is gaining a lot of interest. Even at the time, before the time we visited there, we learned from the VC, that's the DVC, that the governor has already been there. Some few agencies also visited. So we had to also do our own quick... Recording in progress. So we had to do it. So we had to do our own quick review and work. So what we gathered there was, in addition to what you see in the picture, the fire that was raising, there was also what looks like a water stream being injected side by side with the water. So we also went around asking, how did this happen? Was this the normal thing that they experienced around that area? We were meant to understand that this is the first ever well that have been drilled in the university. So even around the area, there are paucity of wells. There are no wells within that area. So in search for water, the university had to do a very big project. For them, this was a big project, and they targeted a depth of 350 meters. The target was a depth of 350 meters. They were looking for a very thick sandstone unit. So on getting to about 293 meters, they met this gas smell. At first, it was just a scent of, something, diesel or gas. They started perceiving that. So an attempt to check on this, a fellow tried to ignite. I mean, it's quite risky and you wouldn't blame them. They are not experts. On trying to ignite a lighter to confirm this, that gave rise to this fire. It wasn't fire at first. It was an attempt to check whether it was gas. Then this blew up and it's been raging. And the fellow that we were talking about, at the time of visit, a week, roughly 3 days to that, when this happened, we learned that the fire got to his face. There were a lot of injury. He was hospitalized at the time of visit. We are just hearing yesterday that the fellow died. So this actually has turned to near injury to a fatal incident. One person is dead, the fellow that tried to check whether, so it's cause for caution. The good thing around this is that immediately the Oka Oweri came back from this with a team of, there's also a fellow, Professor Mode, team of experts, lecturers, geoscientists in that team. The NAPE released the press release. There was a press release from NAPE calling for caution for people to go away to that. And let me tell us, that was heeded to by the university administration. Immediately after our visit, the school stopped people from coming out. You cannot enter that site again. Even us, as a body, if we go now, the VC say, oh, you guys said this, so you shouldn't come at first. So you cannot enter that site. And the only thing that will be done now, maybe to use drone to see around what is happening there. Nothing tangible has been done in a way of trying to quench this. Earlier on, they tried to bring in the services of the fire servicemen. Over 21 tankers, 21 trip of tanker, trying to quench it with ordinary water and some chemical. It couldn't stop that. They were even attempting to use sand, band on it. It couldn't. So this is telling us that this is actually deep-seated. In few days to come, not even in few days, I can confidently tell you that the editorial team of NAPE, led by Dr. Christopher Jackson, also the assistant editor-in-chief, Victoria, and other experts within the editorial team, has worked out a lot of things and even proposed mitigation approaches to stop this. Should it go beyond 1 week? Should it go beyond 2 months? Should it go beyond 3 months? We also have some industry experts in our midst. So the good thing I can tell us is that if we as a body are given the permission, to advise the relevant agency, NAPE is in a better position to do that. My PS, I think you can take it from here before I exceed my 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I just want to emphasize the importance of sharing news like this. We live in a era, age, whatever you want to call it, of fake news. And we as professionals really have the burden of proof when we have information to share amongst ourselves, when we have the right information to share amongst ourselves and also use it as an education tool for the general public. I wanted Dr. Dim to share that so you see that you should be proud of NAPE, but beyond that, you also have the responsibility to educate other people now that you have heard the happening. Dr. Dim, before you go, I would like you to speak to the YP activity that happened at your chapter over the weekend.
Oh, great. It's been a busy one for the Oka. I mean, the busy one for the Oka Owerri chapter, yeah. So it was a great event. It just happened last week, Saturday. So the good thing is that besides, beyond the security issue, and besides the strike, ASU strike, we were surprised at the turnout. Over 70 students and professionals and lecturers were there at the event. Thanks to NAPE, and thanks to NAPE YP lead, Ifani, and thanks to our own local NAPE YP coordinator, George, and all the ASCOs from Oka Owerri. It was a huge success. We had a lecture series from 3 facilitators, one from NMPC, Abiori. Abiori was there. He handled us on a seismic acquisition and processing. We also have another one for data science, which was handled by Flora and Usiobi. We also have one on a petrophysics that was handled by Henry from Halliburton. And also we had one on seismic interpretation that was handled by Ifeanyi too. So it was a huge one. The enthusiasm, the zeal from the students, and the learning can never be taken away. I mean, it's a new chapter, and having this kind of program coming under the platform of NAPE. I mean, and I also noticed that during the event, people that were not also NAPE member had to come. And by virtue of that, they were made to also quickly register. So it was also a way of booming our number as a chapter, membership drive. I mean, it's a good one, and we hope that more of this could happen. Yeah, thank you very much, my peers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dim. So there you have it. There are so many things happening at NAPE. Please key in. And the way to key in is really to participate. So many things. So I'm going to give you this next one. So if you have not been catching up with the Geoscience Education series, you're missing a lot. We have fielded 3 of this series, and they have talked geoscience from a soft perspective, because this is really focused on public advocacy, taking geosciences outside, taking the upstream industry activities outside and educating people, and also using it as a tool for NAPE's visibility, and why not, our members as well. We have had these 3. The first one, I'm going to show you a very short snippet of it. I'll show you I will share short snippets, 1 minute each. So just relax and enjoy. And if you have feedback, please, the secretariat is there. I am here. Every member of the ESCO is here. They will be happy. We will be excited to hear your feedback. So watch this.
And I think like I mentioned before, that most of the time we start from first principles, knowing full well that you cannot build something or nothing. I demarcated to the issue of principle of uniformitarianism, that the present is the key to the past. That was established a long time ago, but it's still very useful. I mean, she has also mentioned various areas where we make use of products from geology, like you travel from Lagos to Ibadan, for example. You are coming from sedimentary to basement. You find out that why do we have a cement plant at Wikoro or Shagamu on the Express or Ibese? Likely because of limestone deposits that are found in those places. And how do you discover the presence of limestone? It was due to the various.
So I'm going to stop that. These are the kind of things that we are sharing to the general public. I'm going to show you another one we had where these 3 amazing people shared their geology story, how they came about geology, their life, and so on and so forth. So let me unmute. Oh, please, while we're starting. So, stop. Doctor? No.
Because he has washed his hands so clean, he can easily just join the elders in dining. And I know I finished growing quite a while ago, and I'm ready to welcome all the young ones who are coming up, who are growing. I find it's one of those who have grown very rapidly. By the way, the question is, how come geology? For me, and I have to go rather far into history, and that part of the history is Nigerian independence. As at independence in 1960, very few scientists were around.
I'm going to stop that as well. If you didn't join, please, these things are all available to watch. I'm going to play the last recording from the Twitter space just for you to listen.
Which obviously implies also good written and oral communication skills. So I think I will rest there for now and allow my colleagues to take up the mic.
Promise, you wanna go? Okay, thank you very much. So I'll just start by saying that, like I said initially, as geoscientists, our skills is very important in the energy transition. So I would try to divide the skills into technical skills and our expertise. You discover that most of this energy, the transition energy we're talking about.
So back to the meeting. I needed to do that because you may be wondering why we are doing this. This is not for even only NAPE members. This is to the general public. But we've had amazing review from NAPE members to say this is good, because it teaches geoscience from a completely different perspective. And I will tell you a joke that has happened in this space. One of it is that we are beginning to discover that there are different kinds of geoscientists. There are glamorous geoscientists, there are spiritual geoscientists, and so on and so forth. So a lot of punchlines there that gets us really excited. And this is not taking anything away from our profession, not taking anything away from our technical skill sets, but this is going beyond that to begin to influence our community. So I hope that spoke something to you. The next session is happening June 28th, 4:30 p.m. We stop always at the hour of 6 o'clock. Look out for more information. I said this already, please, membership dues is what really drives our association, and I'd like to appeal to those who are yet to pay. I know a lot of people have paid up. If you are yet to pay, please pay up your dues. If you would like to even sponsor students, maybe to pay up certain number of students' dues, this is also welcome. Please speak with ABS at the secretariat to get this going. If your organization is not registered, please remind them. We know that they have different fiscal year, but this is a good place to remind them and say, don't wait till the conference, pay now so that we can enjoy all of these amazing discounts, amazing activities, and be able to participate with pride. You won't participate like a debtor, you just participate with pride, right? So please pay up if you're owing. Further announcements around technical session. The Port Harcourt chapter is having a technical presentation, a physical event. The topic is exploration and production, data management challenges and solution, how the geoscience gets involved. And we must really thank Dharmattan for this next set of technical meetings I'm going to be sharing. It's all sponsored by Dharmattan, except one, across all of the chapters. So actually two, across all of the chapters. But thank you, Dharmattan. Please join in, lock these dates down. It's Wednesday next week, 22nd of June by 11 a.m. 23rd, we'll have the UK-Europe chapter technical presentation on application of petroleum geochemistry in exploration, reservoir management, and development strategy. If the question in your mind is going, so why are we having back-to-back? So remember that we are trying to ease into physical activities. So while we do that, we recognize that our virtual or hybrid is still going to stay with us. They may look packed, but chapters have to do their various activities. So this is coming from the UK-Europe chapter on Thursday, but this is an hybrid event. So they are inviting that you please join them. The week after then, you then have Benin chapter, also sponsored by Dharmattan. And we would have the Geoscientist and the digital transformation as their own theme. Please join in. The links are all up. These information have all been shared via social media, via email correspondence, which is our official way of getting information across. Also, Oka Owerri chapter, they are looking at critical energy, environmental impact, signatures, and footprints in a consistently evolving energy regime. Please join in, and special thanks to the chapter who will be sponsoring this particular event. May 30th, we finished the first book donation drive. This is powered by the UAP and the WIGE, Women in Geosciences and Engineering. So the second phase is open. If you would like to donate books, share your old books, your good old books to students, to universities, please get in touch with either Jumoke Akinpelu or ABS. And if you need drop-off support, maybe pick up support, please reach out to them as well. They are able to help. The NAPE Awards is closing this month, June 30th. The VP spoke to this. He encouraged every one of us to please nominate yourself. Before you nominate someone, nominate yourself. Look at all of these award criteria and say, which one fits me? And just nominate yourself. That's how easy as it gets. So please, we are looking up to your nomination as quick as possible. I'm going to call on Cynthia Cynthia to talk about the basin evaluation competition. This closes today, but they're still looking for a lot more mentor. So Cynthia, over to you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll still speak on the existing protocols. The adverts for the basin evaluation competition has gone out Usually it will commence around July, which is next month. But from what we have, we still employ students as well as universities and mentors to volunteer to mentor these students. As we know, the Basin Evaluation Competition is an annual competition organized by NAPE for final year BSc and MSc Geoscience students from Nigerian universities. It is a real life simulation of E&P and field development planning activities, and the university students or students that participate in this competition are expected to evaluate this subsurface data sets and propose drillable hydrocarbon opportunities before a panel of experienced judges. Now, to help these university teams prepare, volunteer industry mentors are usually assigned to each institution to provide guidance and mentorship. Usually the finals take place at the annual NAPE International Conference and Exhibition that is usually held at Eco Hotel in November. Now, what do our volunteer industry mentors do? Usually we assign either 1 or 2 volunteer industry mentors to a school. What you do is first you try to provide support, could be through mails, phone calls, or video calls. You'd also review the methods that the students have used in carrying out their analysis. You'd also help them review and visualize their results, as well as help them with strategic decisions and work towards winning the competition. So the mentorship basically is to bring out the best, in these students. Now, what are even the criteria for some of these schools to participate? Now, for your school to participate in this competition, you have to have a registered NAPE students chapter, okay? And each school is permitted only on a team of at least 3 members, and the participants must be in their penultimate year or higher, meaning they could be master students as well. Now, the enrolling schools should be able to get the consent of their staff advisor or the head of department. Basically, what is even the impacts? This competition has been done over the years, and we have gotten a lot of reviews and positive reviews basically from this competition. The students are usually have the chance to use state-of-the-art technology on real data sets and also receive feedback from industry personnel. Now, we know that a lot of schools have presented us in the past a few of their challenges, being some of them don't have workstation and softwares, for example, Petrel and the likes. The committee is working with NAPE and some companies, especially Schlumberger, to provide some of these softwares this year. So please, we encourage you to participate. The link on the screen displayed is a link for registration. A number of questions are asked there, which would help us ascertain the schools that actually need what softwares as well. And also for the industry mentors, it helps us present the students with basically a little detail about you and also the acceptable means to work with you as well. So we encourage you to please enroll either as a mentor or even enroll your university to participate. We thank NAPE and also all our sponsors, especially those that provided data set for us this year, Shell and Amni. We are grateful for the opportunity, and we also encourage our physical competition this year. So I implore you to please fill the forms, and we hope to meet you in November. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Tunde, please drop the link for the registration, both as mentor and for university, into the chat box so that people can really readily get to nominate themselves. So that brings us to the end of the announcements. Please pardon me a minute. I'm going to stop sharing and start sharing my PowerPoint only. So I see a question here that asks that, are all these Our past recording, are they available? Yes, they are available on the NAPE YouTube channel. It's NAPE, NAPE Nigeria. And you can just put that in the search box on YouTube and all our past videos will come right at you. Right. So to go into our technical presentation today, the VP and the PE has thanked Dharmattan. Dharmattan is our sponsor for today. Before I introduce the technical chairperson, I would like to play this short video from Dharmattan.
T7 is a game changer for geoscientists like you, designed by experienced geoscientists to significantly reduce the structural uncertainties and financial risks of hydrocarbon exploration and production. It represents a new experience in geosoftware. With its uniquely intuitive 3D framework model approach, it makes the interpretation and analysis of seismic data more accurate, faster, yet substantially easier than you thought possible using other systems. T7, the successor to TrapTester, works throughout the full lifecycle of E&P, providing interpretation, structural validation, fault seal analysis, stress analysis, fracture prediction, advanced cell model capabilities, and a host of desirable new workflow features. T7 contains a complete interpretation toolkit, allowing you to quickly and intuitively create robust models using simple validation tools, supporting complex models, including thrusts. And all this in a fully immersive, interactive 3D environment that offers unsurpassed stability. T7 represents the most comprehensive fault seal toolkit in the market, created by the pioneers who set the industry standard. Now you can analyze fault seal on framework models, enabling you to continuously update and refine your model as the data changes, and carry out sophisticated, multi-faulted trap analysis automatically. Stress testing in T7 allows the non-specialist to identify potential leak sources before the leak occurs, reducing risk. And you can use it to understand how stress can be harnessed to increase production. T7 profoundly changes the game for anyone working in fractured reservoirs by replacing DFNs with fast, easily created geomechanical models, enabling you to identify sweet spots by predicting fracture intensity and orientation. Build accurate cellular models incredibly quickly in T7. Populate with reservoir properties using T7's streamlined geostatistical wizard, or use the unique functionality in Transgen. Add missing structure to the grid. To enhance production, reduce risk, and do it in far less time. We've revolutionized workflow too. For example, using context-sensitive toolbars, so you can achieve better results with far fewer clicks. Fewer clicks, better results. Trust the experts. So what next? We invite you to take T7 for a test drive. Download your free trial, and we promise you will see why the industry's best choose Badley's software. T7, a game changer for geoscientists.
Okay, so to lead us straight into the technical presentation today, the need for precision in fault seal analysis, case study in the avoidance of dry hole is no other person than Wasiu Lawal, a senior geoscientist at Dharmattan. But I'm going to introduce our erudite fellow, Mr. Ajibola Oyebamji, FNAPE, to the podium, to the virtual podium. And Uncle Jibs, we caught you there. You're stretching for the work ahead. Okay, we're going to invite Mr. Oyebamji, our technical chairperson for today, to moderate this session around the topic that we have. Just to read his profile out very briefly, he's not new to us. He's an immediate past president of NAPE, a fellow, and he has been actively involved in industry activities as well as NAPE activities. I know that, and I stress that because most people tend to assume that volunteering, then you don't do as much in the office as well. So in his capacity as the research and development manager, any companies in Nigeria, he has championed and promoted over 4 million naira research and development initiatives in various universities. He has also been actively involved in several professional and industry activities such as the Stratcom. He has served as editorial board, treasurer, president-elect, and president of NAPE. So I'd like you to kindly welcome Mr. Oyebamiji for the technical session. Thank you, sir, for the honor. We can't hear you. Now we hear you. The audio isn't great. Yes, it's coming up. Speak, sir, speak, let me hear. Yeah, I think I know what's happening. Maybe there is a wall very close to you and yeah, it could be. If you have an earpiece, you probably want to try it. If not, let's see how this goes. There's an echo, yeah. So we'll just wait briefly. This happens to be even the most prepared. So please, thanks for your understanding. We'll just wait until he fixes his earpiece and hopefully that is better.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. So over to you. Thank you, sir. Oops, are you speaking? Mr. Gibbs, we can't hear you. Are you speaking? Just to be sure.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
I hear you now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, it's still morning, almost afternoon. Thanks to Botun and the NAPE team for the honor to be the chairperson for this June technical meeting. I will leave it at that since all the other protocols have been observed. It's Good to be here again on behalf of NAPE. I'd like to thank everyone online participating in this June technical meeting. Okay, just like I've been introduced, my name is Ajibola Oyebamiti, and I will quickly introduce the speaker for today. Today's speaker is Wasiu Lawal, who is a senior geoscientist skilled in seismic interpretation and subsurface mapping, reservoir modeling, and proxy analysis. He has over 3 years experience across several sedimentary basins, including Niger Delta, Dahomey Basin, Albert Rift Basin in Uganda, as well as Mozambique. Wasiu is a graduate of the University of Ilorin, has a degree, BSc degree in geology and mineral science, and has attended a lot of job-specific trainings in Nigeria, United Kingdom, Canada, United States of America. He's a member of NAPE, NMGS, APG, EAG, as well as FEG. I'd like to welcome Wasiu to this very important meeting. If there are questions, please note your questions while he's speaking, and then after the presentation, we will quickly answer all the questions. On behalf of NAPE, I'd like to thank Wasiu. I'd like to thank the sponsor, Wasiu, who is the MD of Dharmattan, for this honor. Thank you so much. So Wasiu, you have the floor. You can go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen. You can go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank NAPE.
The screen is still coming up.
It's still coming up. Okay.
Yes, we are yet to see it.
So maybe it's your network. The screen is up, just so we don't waste more time.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Is it up now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. So,
first of all, I want to thank NAPE for this opportunity. As an organization, NAPE has never disappointed us. Please keep up the good work. Also, I want to a very big thank you to my employer, Dharmattan, for sponsoring this technical meeting. Fourth seal is critical to hydrocarbon exploration and production. It is fundamental to prospect and play assessments, as well as field development. So this morning, I'll be sharing with you a success story of how we have used this tool called T7 to accurately and precisely predict fossil behavior. So I will be demonstrating how T7 carries out detailed juxtaposition analysis and how it reliably predicts fossil rock properties. So why do we do fossil analysis? Why is fossil analysis so important? First is to prevent the drilling of dry holes. As you can see from something I put down here, if you want to drill more than your share of dry holes, don't map faults. A leaking fault can bleed your trap dry. Also, a sealing fault can prevent a trap from being charged. Fault can also lead to limited reserves. For example, it can reduce the column of hydrocarbon in a trap to less than expected. It's also applicable where you have a compartmentalized reservoir, because fault seal controls the degree of communication between the different compartments. Also, fault seal can lead to new prospects and new plays. You can have hydrocarbon being trapped down deep of the dry hole or down deep of the known accumulation. Also, you can have residual reserves, especially when the fault is partially sealing. It's also applicable in a case where you have straddling potentials, in the case of a fluid unitization, because when you ignore fault seal and focus only on reservoir properties and fluid contacts, it can lead to unequal distribution of the reserves. Also, in terms of fluid development, fault seal can retard the hydrocarbon flow and also affect sweep efficiency. So ultimately, we want to be able to provide the answer to the following questions. Are hydrocarbons likely to have migrated into the trap, or are hydrocarbons likely to have migrated out of the trap? What is the likely height of hydrocarbons that the fault can support? So very key questions. Then is it likely that compartments exist within a field which have not been produced and will therefore require further drilling? So what you see is that the faults do not only control whether there is hydrocarbon in the trap or not, it controls how much hydrocarbon is in the trap. And it does not only control how much hydrocarbons you have there, it controls how the hydrocarbons are distributed either vertically among a series of tack sands or within a single sand among a series of fault compartments. So the next question now is that if fault seal is this important, are you using the right tool for the job? So T7 has evolved over time as a robust fault analysis tool. This tool started as a structural QC tool in 1990. In fact, it was the first automated phase displacement analysis tool. Then in 1994, detailed wet stratigraphy was introduced, and it became the first automated fault juxtaposition analysis tool. Then in 1997, Bradley's Geoscientist invented the SGR, which is now the industry standard parameter for evaluating seal integrity. And since then, the tool has been improving. So now the tool can do juxtaposition analysis, and it can accurately predict the composition of fault zone rocks. So this is a corner point grid, and it is what a lot of tools in the industry use for fault analysis. CPG faults are a wrong and terrible representation of the natural features of a fault because the model is coarse and is not suitable for fault analysis. However, fault analysis in T7 uses high precision fault frameworks like the one you are seeing here, and it uses that to accurately identify juxtapositions in space and also to predict fault zone rock properties. So the option really is between doing fault analysis using over smooth interpretation surfaces or doing detailed structural fault analysis with geological precision. The key word here is precision. So here is a case study that I'm going to use to illustrate my points. This particular, we were asked to evaluate this particular trap after a failed attempt to conduct FSA, that's fault analysis using a different tool. So the sources of this trap relies on these two faults to seal. This northeast, southwest trending fault and northwest and southeast 24th. Of course, there are 2 other faults, but for this accumulation to be, for this trap to be successful, these 2 faults have to be sealing. But before I continue,
just to find out,
I would like to.
Excuse me, do you have MasterCard?
I would like to take us through some theoretical background for us to have a very good understanding of this. There are 2 types of force seal. One is juxtaposition seal. The other one is membrane seal, also, which is also known as capillary seal. In the case of juxtaposition seal, you have a reservoir being juxtaposed against a non-reservoir. That is, you have sand being juxtaposed against shale. So in that case, the fault is automatically assumed to be sealing. For membrane seal, you have 4 zone processes generating fault rocks with a very high capillary entry pressure. A fault will leak when the buoyancy pressure is higher than the capillary entry pressure. The buoyancy pressure is the pressure difference between water and hydrocarbon phases, while the capillary entry pressure is the amount of pressure required to force the fluid through the pore throat of the seal. So even if you have a sand-to-sand juxtaposition, it doesn't mean your fault is going to leak as long as you have materials with high capillary entry pressure in your fault zone. The lower the grain size, the higher the capillary entry pressure. So if you have a fault zone that is very rich in clean minerals, your fault can still seal. And in that case, that's what we refer to as a membrane seal. And of course, a sealing fault can begin to leak as a result of the reactivation. In this case, the reactivation can be as a result of pressure changes, probably due to maybe production or water injection. So when the fault is critically stressed, it can give in and begin to leak. So you also carry out the reactivation studies to look at the possibility of a sealing fault becoming leaking as a result of reactivation. So this is a typical workflow for fault seal analysis. First is to build a framework model. A framework model is a 3-dimensionally consistent intersection of fault and horizon surfaces. And the major products you get from there are the fault polygons, which represent the if and throw of your fault. Then after that, you need to now QC the framework model. And this is more or less the most important part of the job. So to QC the framework model, there are several utilities to do that. One is to do true analysis, and you can also use some fault statistical tools to carry out that. When that is properly done, then you can incorporate stratigraphic details by now incorporating your well-curved data. Then you carry out a juxtapositional analysis using Allen diagram and a triangle diagram. The next thing is to now compute, once you have the throw and the field shale, the next thing is to now compute fault seal attributes. So the major attributes now is shale gauge ratio. That's the major sealing parameter used in the industry now. The other one is, there are other ones like the CSP developed by Shell in the 1980s, but the industry standard parameter used for forcing now is the shale gauge ratio. The shale gauge ratio in itself is not a measure of the seal integrity. So you now have to calibrate the SGR using local and global data in order to now arrive at hydrocarbon column heights. So back to the case study. So you have those two faults which are very critical to you having a hydrocarbon in this trap. So now this is the raw horizon data. I've only applied some transparency to the fault surfaces for you to see the fault gaps. So this is what you are seeing here is the modeled surface that we got from the previous FSA attempt. So you can see that proper QC is not done here. The model does not accommodate all of the fault gaps, and it's not able to resolve the complexity of the faulting, especially in the area of intersection between the area of intersection of the faults. So now, how do we now resolve the area in red, which is very important for this force analysis project to be successful? So here is the problem. And this is a common problem, which can be as a result of a horizon mistake during seismic interpretation, or it can also be as a result of error during the horizon grading process. So how does T7 models correct this type of problem around the fault horizon intersections? So here is the solution. What T7 does is to create two zones around the faults. Around the fault zone, one is the trim zone, the other one is the patch zone. So the trim zone is where T7 will remove the erroneous interpretation. It will now extrapolate the interpretation in the patch zone onto the fault surface so that you can have a true representation of the throw. Because if you use this like this, it's going to tell you that the throw is from here to here, which is not correct. So it has to be properly QC for you to have a good representation of the throw. And you can also see it in the map view there. So these are the final fault polygons. After proper QC, you can see some dashed lines and straight lines. The dashed lines are the fault horizon intersection at the footwall, while the continuous lines at the fault horizon intersection at the hanging wall. So what is interesting here is how T7 has been able to transform the throw from the different faults onto the area where they are intersecting. So once the throw distribution has been properly taken care of, the next is to now incorporate stratigraphic details. Now you need to now move from seismic scale stratigraphy to well scale stratigraphy, because of course, it's not possible for you to interpret all the sands and shale in your well. So, but everything has to be represented on the fault surface. So in this case, these two horizons have been mapped, but you still have to incorporate every sand and shale in the well on your fault surface. So the well curve data has now been mapped onto the fault surface. An example is this particular sand. You can see the peaks here, and you can see it being mapped on the fault surface. So this is the fish shale attributes on all the four surfaces. And here you have the Allen diagram, which is area on the first surfaces where you have sand to sand juxtaposition. And you can see the fish shale content in those areas. Those areas are very important because those are your potential leak points. So now we have been able to move from a seismic scale to detailed well stratigraphy. Then it doesn't matter if you have a complex geometry like channels. T7 can honor any geometry. So straightforward, you can simply create them using seismic slice as a guide, as you are seeing here. So please take note that this is for presentation purpose. The channels are not really on this particular slice. So now we have been able to move from a layer cake step-by-step approach to complexity in moments. So, and that's all we need to calculate the SGR. You need the throw that is properly QC. Then you need the detailed well stratigraphy. So in this case now, you now have the calculated SGR on the four surfaces. So the green mean low shade gauge ratio up to the red, which is high shade gauge ratio. Then from the shade gauge ratio, this can now be calibrated and converted to column heights. But of course, we are not interested in the O4s. We are only interested in the prospect sand. So T7 allows you to filter the display in every way you can imagine. It has limitless options. So here is a typical trap. So the percentage fill of a trap is controlled by several factors. Two of those factors are the four dependent lake points and the fossil integrity. Of course, there are other factors like the structural spill points, like the hydrocarbon charge, and also the topsoil integrity. A trap cannot be filled beyond the structural spill points. So in this case, you have this closure here is structurally independent. It doesn't rely on the fault. Whether this fault is sealing or leaking, you are going to have hydrocarbon there as long as it's filled. The dashed red line here is the assumed area up in the column where you have predicted where you have buoyancy pressure being equal to capillary entry pressure, and that means that is the weakest point up in the system. So the maximum hydrocarbon column height is going to be calculated from there down. In this case, the maximum hydrocarbon column height is 100 meters. And you have the total hydrocarbon column height to be 250 meters. So what it means is that the actual column height supported by your trap might be higher than the maximum hydrocarbon column height predicted by T7. So these are the different algorithms used for fossil calibration. They are based on global data, and and they are derived from the relationship between buoyancy pressure, capillary pressure, and shake gauge ratio. So you have the Stratigraphic of 2002, you have the Brenton of 2003, and you have the latest one, which is the Yadin of 2010. The Brenton has been found not to be very reliable, and it should not be used. The Stratigraphic of 2022 is not reliable in many circumstances, but the Yadin is the one that is globally applicable because it requires fewer inputs and it adheres to natural limits. But what you find out is that out of these three, in most forces analysis tool, you only have to choose from the Brenton and the Stratigraphic. The Yadin is not available. But now, like I said earlier, for this trap to be successful, these two faults have to be sealing. So the success of the trap relies on both traps sealing. So how do we know which will leak first? And is that strong enough to fit to structural spill? That is where the trap analyst will come in. The trap analyst is a very robust tool which can predict the actual fault-dependent leak points on your fault surface. So it's going to give you the actual coordinates and depth where you have a fault leakage. And it's the only tool in the industry that can assess multiple faulted framework, and it can automatically report whether field to spill is possible. So that is what you are seeing here. This is your fault-dependent leak points as predicted by trap analysts. It means you don't have accumulation beyond that point. And you can use that even in volumetrics. So you can have a force field controlled gross volume, which you can confidently use to calculate volume. And this can also be incorporated into your uncertainty analysis. Then T7 is also very relevant for QC in production. So if you have a producing field, so T7 is very relevant when it comes to QC. To the left, you have this model where over 225 simulations have been carried out, but no history match because no proper QC was done. But when the faults were QC'd in T7, after 7 simulations, history match was achieved. So the tool provides, the T7 provides the tools to build high precision, geologically validated models, no matter how complex, and it has been recommended by world-leading structural geologists for building a fault framework like this ConocoPhillips paper that you are seeing here. So it allows you to investigate physical properties like strike, dip, coefficient, and rose plots. You can have 3D display of throw, this separation, longitudinal and shear strain, graphical plots, length versus displacement, and fault plane profiles, and so on and so forth. Then, why are precise models very important? The answer is very simple. All maps are wrong, and that is why QC is very important. If you look at this particular example, as you are having improved understanding with time, your map keeps changing. So in 1998, before they drilled this trap, they probably thought this is the best map that they have. After drilling 2 wells, you see how the map has changed. And up to 2010, you can see how the map has totally changed from what you have initially. So the map that you have now, is dependent on the amount of data that you have. That is why you have to do a lot of QC for you to be sure that you are doing the right thing. So from doing detailed juxtaposition analysis using triangle diagram and Allen diagram, as you are seeing here, to building very robust structural frameworks to foresee calibration. So T7 has a very robust workflow for forcing analysis. The developer of this tool is Badley's Geoscience based in the UK, and they are the pioneers of forcing analysis, and they remain the global leaders in its correct application. So I recommend this tool for you for your next forcing analysis projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wasiu, for a very detailed presentation. I believe you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you have taken us through the usage of T7 in foresee analysis and how to prevent the drilling of dry holes. I like your quotation that if you want to drill more than your share of the dry holes, do map fault or ignore fault seals. In essence, what you are saying is that it is expedient, it is very important for us to map our faults and determine their sealing capacities. You also agree with me that no company wants to drill a dry hole because it involves millions and millions of USD. So the primary aim is for us to drill successful wells. You have also highlighted the fact that foresee involves 3 main studies: juxtaposition, foresee, deformation process, and reactivation. You took us through the type of foresee that we have, which is the juxtaposition field and the membrane field. One very strong language I heard from you loudly is the fact that we must QT our data. I mean, I had QT regularly from you, and that's very important for every data. So it's not just garbage in, garbage out. So what you feed in is what comes out. So, but to quality control your data is crucial. You also quickly showed us a typical workflow for the FSA using T7, how to build your framework using corporate well data and stratigraphic details, juxtaposition analysis, complete foresee and attributes, as well as evaluate seal integrity. You showed some examples of what to do and what not to do, and the best practices. You concluded by saying that T7 provides the tools to build complex, high-precision, geologically validated models. And you recommended it for the entire industry. Of course, that is the crux of the matter. So, and I will leave it at that. I will allow those who have questions to please type in their questions. I don't know who is seeing the questions. We'll take the questions. If you can take the question, please, you can go ahead.
Right, so we don't have any question now, but we have a hand raised. So, Dr. Shinowo, we're going to allow you to talk quickly, but if you have any question, every other person on the call, please put it in the Q&A box So Dr. Schnell, you can speak now. Please go ahead and ask a question or comments. You're muted in case you're speaking. So do you need to unmute him?
I've done that. I've asked him to unmute.
Thank you. So while we're waiting, please, if you have any other question for the presenter, please, you can raise your hand as well. We'll see, we can take 2 persons and then the other ones will be via the chats or the Q&A box.
But I think there's a question for you for NAPE. It says, are these previous webinars recordings available to catch up on?
Yes, I responded to that and it's all.
Oh.
Henry, please go ahead and ask it.
Okay. Good afternoon. Sorry, I want to ask how you can be able to identify a dry hole using fault analysis.
How you can be able to
identify a dry hole using fault analysis in terms of the structural trap.
No, first analysis. Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Now we hear you.
So you do first analysis to prevent the drilling of dry hole. You don't use first analysis to identify a dry hole. So it's a tool to help you prevent the drilling of dry hole. So before you go and drill, if your fault is fault dependent, you need to analyze the fault and make sure the fault is actually sealing. If the fault is not sealing, when you drill, you are not going to see any hydrocarbon there. I don't know if that answers your question.
That answers the question. Dr. Schnell's question is in the chat box. He's asking how one can get the license to the software.
Yeah, you need to, Dharmattan is the is the company representing badlists in Nigeria. So if you need the license, you can talk to us. So we will be happy to welcome you.
Mr. Gibbs, we have one more hand raised. And then if we don't have any other question in the chat box, we'll wrap it up here. Amara, you want to ask your question?
Okay, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, am I being heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my question is there like a value for the SGR for you to know that the fault will seal? Is there like a range?
Yeah, you have you can have from 0 to 100. Okay. So the higher the SGR, the higher the amount of shale you have in your fault zone. But what I said is that even the SGR itself is not is just a parameter for seal. It's not in itself what determines the seal integrity. So it still has to be calibrated using global data for you to be sure that the hydrocarbon column height you are predicting is actually there. But of course, if you have ISGR, it means your fault is likely to be sealing. So the higher the SGR, the better.
Thank you.
I think maybe you will need to handle this. It says, kindly share the contact of the personnel who can guide me how to get the software license. I will appreciate. I think they're also listening. There's another guy, Lawal or Chinowo. Also, can I get the contact details so I can contact the organization?
Wasiu, please leave your contacts or the marketing rep for Dharmattan here so that the person can be contacted.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. So I think it's a good place to close the technical session, Mr. Gibbs.
Yes, and I want to sincerely also appreciate NAPE for considering me as the chairman of this session. It's such an honor. I want to thank you so much. Thanks to you, the entire NAPE Executive Committee members, for the opportunity. And thanks to the speaker, Wasiu, excellent job. Regard to your MD for always supporting the cause of NAPE. On this note, towards my hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, a virtual clap for Wasiu and the Dharmattan team. If you can do that on the chat, that would be appreciated. While that is going on, Wasiu, please, there's a question in the Q&A. Please just type a response to it. It's saying, please throw more light on the reactivation process. But we've closed the technical session. If you have any questions, put it in the Q&A box. Wasiu will pick it up and respond, and you can look out for the answer. So that is the end of technical session. I'm going to then call again on Wasiu because Mr. Bashir had to leave for another meeting to give the sponsor's remark on behalf of Dharmattan.
Yeah, he gave me a speech he left for a meeting, so he gave me this speech. So can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Dharmattan was set up as an indigenous company providing cutting-edge geoscience services to the petroleum industry. Our commitment has always been to provide local geoscience expertise, to develop young professionals by employing and training them, to support the wider industry under the auspices of NAPE and other professional organizations, as well as our universities. We provide services to operating companies to achieve their exploration and production goals. And our first scene analysis services is only one of the numerous services we provide. As we have done in the past, we are always happy to support the goals of NAPE, and sponsoring today's business and technical meeting is part of these efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'd like to call on the P to respond to that sponsor's remark as we close the technical session. P, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Thanks a lot, PS. Yeah, thanks so much again, Dharmattan, and to your the MD Bashir Koidoye FNAPE, a strong friend of NAPE over the years, and I think it's just highlights the commitment of your organization, as well as the friendship we've enjoyed from Dharmattan over the years, to show that they would, without being called, volunteer to want to make a presentation to NAPE to sponsor a technical meeting. And so just want to thank you to the sponsor, as well as to the presenter, Wasiu Lawal, for this very most insightful presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of the technical session. Many thanks to Dharmattan for this sponsorship. Just a recap of our June events. I made some specific announcements when we started, but this is what June is looking like within NAPE. Please look out for these correspondences and register early, and also share to your professional colleagues and people within your network to join us. Just to recap on this, call for abstract is still on. please submit your abstracts. The technical team are on hand to receive them. Don't wait till the very last minutes. And also you see the advertisement rates for your organizations to advertise in the book of abstracts. Please also get that going in early as well. Our idea is find oil and gas, and we have come to the end of June technical meeting. Please catch up with our activities on the social media. The address is very straightforward, is NAPE Nigeria. Yes, P, I'm coming back to you. It's NAPE Nigeria, and you'll be the first to know about everything. We also have some events that are not yet currently here, but as they evolve and are firmed up, you will be informed. I would like to call on the PE to give us vote of thanks as we close this meeting.
Yeah, thanks again to us. Thanks for facilitating this. Again, I want to thank all for the last 2 hours or so that we've listened to this technical session for today. I want to particularly recognize the chairman of the board of trustees of NAPE. My understanding is that he's turns 81 today, and he's one of the founding members of NAPE, the former group MD of NNPC, a fellow of the association, and the current chair of the board of trustees. So I think congrats and hearty cheers are in order for him today. Also to recognize the members of the advisory council who are on the call, and the fellows, as well as all our members and EXCO, as well as the staff of NAPE who over the years keep us going strong. They work in the background to ensure that all of these activities happen. We also want to say thank you to Dharmattan, as well as to Wasiu Lawal for putting it together. But more importantly, or most importantly, also to the chairman of this session, Jibola Ibamiji, FNAPE, for taking time out to help to run the affairs of today's session. Thank you so much, Jibola. And thanks so much for all of the call and our friends of the Defense Association. All the very best. PS, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are dashing you back 18 more minutes of your time. Have a good afternoon, everyone.